Hi everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we are going to be making this video on how to make this scarf and make these 3 buttons on it. This can be an infinity scarf or it could just be a regular scarf by just taking opening this up without the buttonholes. So this is a very basic, very beginner pattern, but anybody can do this pattern. It's very simple. And I'll have the written pattern in the description of this video. Also make sure to subscribe to my channel here on YouTube and join our Facebook. I'll put the links in the description of this video so you can find that there. But we're going to make this large, bulky boyfriend type scarf today. So it's very large and very warm and cuddly for the winter coming up. So the supplies we are going to need today are red heart yarn. You can use any color of red heart yarn, Super Saver. I'm using this charcoal color. I used I guess a full skein of this. It took me about, I didn't actually use the full skein. This is how much I had left. So close to a full skein of yarn. And this is going to be about 6 feet long. The hook size we are going to need today is a size L hook, which is 8 millimeters. So make sure you have that handy. And these cool buttons I got from my dad. He sells these online at the store Would Be Fancy on Etsy. So I'll put his shop on there. These are awesome real wood buttons that he cuts and sands and makes them all fancy for our crochet work, so you can get them there. And we obviously need a scissors, but you should get a yarn needle as well to sew in your ends and sew these buttons on, because we're going to sew them on with yarn and then sew in our ends, and it's going to look all clean on the inside so you can't even tell. So those are the supplies we need, and let's just get started. Alright, to start out, we are going to make a slip knot. So put your short end over the long end like this, fold that down, and pull that through, and pull tight. Insert your hook, and we're ready to go. So now we need to chain 31, so yarn over and pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to make you watch me chain all 31, so just continue yarning over and pulling through until you get 31 chains, and then I'll meet you up when I have my 31, and we'll go on to row 1. Alright, so I have my 31 chains. This is what it looks like. So now we are going to go into the second chain from the hook and make a single crochet. But our chain looks like this right now, but what I usually do is turn it toward me and work on these back ridges here. Okay, so I'm going to work in those to make my edge just a little bit cleaner. So go right into the second chain from the hook. So the loop that's on your hook never counts as anything. So we count 1 and 2. And then we insert our hook right into there. Then yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through both loops. That's a single crochet. Okay, so we're just going to go into the next chain and make another single crochet. Okay, the next chain, just single crochet all the way across this chain. Super easy. Just insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then the next chain, like so. Okay, so I'm just going to single crochet all the way across this chain, and then I'll meet you up when we go on to row number 2. Alright, going on to row 2, I'm just going to single crochet in this last chain here. And then once we finish row 1, we need to chain 1, so yarn over and pull through, just like that. Turn your work, so now we're looking at this side. And now rows 2 through 11 are all the same. So we're going to now half double crochet, and for the rest of this pattern, we're working in the back loops only. So let me show you the back loop. Here. So usually we work through both loops. Let me get this out of the way. So we work through both loops like this. Okay, this is the front loop. Okay, and then this is the back loop. Okay, so we're going to insert our hook here and work around this right here. So, and we're working with half double crochets for rows 2 through 11. So yarn over, go into this first stitch in the back loop only where we just chained up one in, so right here. Then yarn over and pull through, so now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. Okay, then yarn over, go into the next stitch in the back loop only, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 of the loops. Then yarn over, go into the next stitch, back loop only, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Okay, so just do that all the way across, working in the back loop only. Once you get the hang of it, you'll go much faster. But just yarn over, go into the back loop only, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So it's very similar to a single crochet, but you're yarning over in the beginning. Okay, so yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, so I'm just going to do that all the way across. Then I'll show you how to go on to row number 3, and then I'll leave you to do the rest of the rows until you finish row 11, and then we'll do row 12 together. So I'll meet you up when we go on to row 3. Alright, I'm just finishing up row 2. Don't forget that last stitch. It's going to be a little bit hidden, but you have to go through the back loop of that one too. So this is what it looks like. Going through the back loops makes it have this rib effect. So it looks like it's kind of raised and like almost 3D, which is really cool. So it just gives it a little bit of a dimension. Now going on to row 3. Now this is your repeat. So chain up 1, turn your work, and half double crochet across in the back loops only. So basically just repeating row 2. Okay, so we're just going through the back loop only, doing half double crochets across. So do this now for rows 3, which we're on, row 3, through row 11. So once you're finished with row 11, I'll meet you up and we'll do row 12 together, and then that's it, that's the repeat. So rows 2 through 12 is the repeat of this whole pattern. So I will meet you up when I am finishing row 11. Alright, so I'm just finishing row 11, so just chain up 1 and turn your work. Now going on to row number 12. Before we do, I just want to show that this is giving a ribbed effect because we are working in the back loops only on every row. So you can see here it gives that dimension to it. So we're working 10 rows of half double crochets, and then row 12, so the 11th row in this, I guess, in this repeat pattern, row 12 is just single crochets across, and we're working in the back loops only still. So we're not yarning over and going in, we're just going in. Okay, then yarning over and pulling through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. That's a single crochet. So we're just single crocheting all the way across for row 12, just like this. And then I'll just meet you back up when we go on to row 13, which then after row 13 you're on your own for the rest of the pattern because it is a repeat. Alright, so I'm just finishing row 12 there, so I just finished my last single crochet. Now chain 1 and turn your work. Now for rows 13 to row 90, that's right, row 90, you're going to repeat rows 2 through 12. So you're basically going to be half double crocheting 10 rows and then single crocheting a row, and then half double crocheting 10 rows and single crocheting a row, all working in the back loops only. So now I'm just repeating row 2 here for row 13. So we're just half double crocheting across, and we're going to do 10 rows of half double crochets, and then we're going to do 1 row of single crochet. And we're going to do this all the way until we hit row 90. It should be approximately 6 feet. It may be a little bit longer than that, which is 72 inches or 183 centimeters
approximately. So just if you want it shorter or longer, you can just keep going through both of your skeins of yarn, and then we will then meet up when we do rows 91 and 92, and then we are going to be completed. So I'll meet you up when I finish row 90.
Alright, so we're back, and I accidentally lost count, and I kind of went a little extra, so I ended up with 98 rows, and you can see here, let's see, where's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's my single crochet row. You can't really see it very well, but it's right in here. Okay, so I just did the single crochet row and then 10 more rows of the half double crochet, ending with a half double crochet row. So you can just do your repeats however many times you want, and mine ended up, mine's now 6 feet long. So this is what it's going to look like. Well, it's folded in half. But to finish, so I said do 90 rows, but I ended up with 98. And we're just going to do 2 rows left. And what we have to do is just do a single crochet row. So I just finished this half double crochet row and I chained up 1. So now I'm just going to do a single crochet row, which you know how to do because this is a repetition. So just do your single crochet row now. You know, if you do the 98 rows, or if you end on row 90, or wherever you're at, if you're doing the repetitions correctly, then just finish with a single crochet row. Okay, and I'm almost done here. And you can make this however long and bulky you want it to be. So, or how short you want it to be. It's really totally up to you. So I'm almost there. I'm just doing a quick single crochet row, and now this next row is optional. So at the end of this row here, what you could do is chain up 1 to fasten off and cut the yarn, pull it all the way through, and sew it in, and that could be where you end it. But I'm going to add buttons to my project. So what I need you to do is, let's see here, single crochet in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. So just single crochet in the first 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. Again, you can do it in the back loop only, or you could do it in both loops. Doesn't matter at this point, or on this row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now chain 2, 1 and 2. Skip the next 2 stitches, and then single crochet in the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then chain 2, 1 and 2, skip the next 2 stitches, and single crochet in the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then chain 2, 1 and 2, and skip the next 2 stitches and single crochet in the rest of the stitches on the row, which should be 6. Alright, now at this point we are going to fasten off. So to fasten off, I just chain 1, like I said earlier, cut my yarn and pull that all the way through and pull tight. Now I'm going to sew in my ends real quick so you can see how I do that. I just yarn my needle and go underneath the stitches, just back and inside. Okay, and then I go back. And you can do it once more for good measure. Stretch it out, cut that straggler, Alright, and then you also want to do it to the beginning. Now, you could have fastened off with a very long tail and sewed it all together to make an infinity scarf. If you weren't going to do the button holes, like you could have stopped at the row before the buttonhole row and fastened off with a long tail and then sewed the two ends together to make an infinity scarf, and you could have sewn the buttons on permanently so in one spot. So you could have sewed these two ends together across here and then added the buttons over the top of that like this, evenly spaced, just like that. And then they'd be permanently on there. But I am going to do it a little differently. So wherever your buttonholes are, match it up to the opposite end, just like this. Okay, and I suggest either getting a stitch marker or getting an opposite color or a different color yarn. Okay. Ooh, bless me. Excuse me. And I'm going to now put where the buttonholes are, I'm going to mark with a stitch marker through the stitches, just like this. So I'm just going to put my stitch marker, or if you want to, you can just line it up and put your button there and sew it on right away. But I'm just going to mark my spots, and then once I mark them, I'll be right back to show you how to sew on the buttons. Alright, so I marked each spot. What you could also do is just count 6 stitches from the end and then wrap your yarn around the 2 stitches, skip 6 stitches, wrap the 2, skip 6 stitches, blah blah blah. So now for our buttons, like I said earlier, these I got online on Etsy through the shop Would Be Fancy. These are real wood that are awesome, so I'll put the link for their shop in the description of this video as well. But this is how we're going to do this. So you have to make sure that you have a needle that's going to go through the buttonhole easily, which this one does, and then you want to set it right where you want it. Then take the same color as the scarf, so charcoal here, and yarn your needle, and then go from the back through and through, and you can remove this stitch marker, toss it aside, and pull that through the other hole there, and then do that once more. Just wrap it, and then you want to end it by going on the outside. Then fold this over and tie a few knots tightly. I like to tie 3 like that, and then cut the yarn, and then we'll sew that in. Okay, and we're just going to sew it underneath a few stitches, kind of like in a circle around the button area. Okay, and once you feel like that's secure, then you can cut that yarn, and there's a button. So do that for the other 2, and then I'll meet you up when we are all finished. Alright, so I just sewed the other 2 on there, so that looks good, and you can just put them through the buttonholes, just like that, and we are finished. So thank you so much for watching and making this scarf with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to click like and favorite this video so you can come back to it and make as many of these as you want. Make sure to click subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so you can get updates on when I make new videos. So I try to get 1 or 2 out every week. And make sure to join our Facebook page so you can share your work and get inspiration from others. And I'll put all the links for the pattern, for where you can get these cool buttons, for where you can find my website, my Facebook. All the fancy links will be in the description of this video. So thank you so much for watching, and I also want to thank our videographer and editor of this video, Fuad, my dad, for taking the time out to do this with us. So thank you, and thanks for watching. Happy hooking! Alright, so I finished my pattern, but then I wasn't really fond of the outside edge. I don't know, just my personal feeling about it was I didn't really like it. So if you like it, that's great. You can finish your project and be done. But what I'm going to end up doing actually is single crocheting around this piece. So go into I'm just going to show you how I'm doing it. So go where you made the buttonhole row. We're going to start at the very last stitch here. Okay, I'm going to insert my hook. I'm going to take that extra yarn that I have left over here, and I'm going to make a slip knot. So again, put the short end over the long end, fold it down and pull that through, and then attach that to the yarn, or to the hook, sorry, and then pull that through that stitch and then yarn over and pull through. So now I'm attached. Okay, now we can put a single crochet into that stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, and now I'm going to just single crochet along this edge, just putting wherever my hook fits is where I'm going to put a single crochet. So just, oops, and you can try to put it through both loops, like in the stitches on each side and on the edge stitch. Okay, so basically wherever it fits along this edge, and I'm crocheting over my straggler so I don't have to sew it in later. So that's all sewn in already, and I'm just putting it wherever this fits, just like that. And I'm just going to single crochet all the way around this piece. Okay, just like that. So then I'll just meet you up then when I finish completely finish, where I'll have a single crochet all the way around this piece, and then I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll be done. Alright, so I just crocheted all the way around, and now I'm just going to slip stitch into the next stitch right here, yarn over, pull through, and then to fasten off I just chain up 1, cut my yarn, pull that through, pull tight, and sew in my end here, just like this, underneath a few of the stitches. Okay, and then back. Okay, and then cut the rest and pull it. There we go. Alright, now we are finished. Now I like how the edge looks. It looks cleaner, nicer, and we have the buttons. We can close it up with the buttonholes, just like that. So there we go. There, the edges look much cleaner, nicer, and more uniform. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching. Happy hooking!